Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Mindset to Mike, episode 21.
Big 2-1. It's like we're legal, bro. We can go out and do whatever we want.
The most legal podcast on the planet. I'm getting good at those. Anyway, welcome everybody. Welcome back. Jimmy Cvitkovich on this side.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Got Drew over here. Welcome back. Mindset to Mike, episode 21.
It's exciting. Our podcast can drink. That is exciting. It fires me up. Drew, how you feeling on this fine Monday?
It's beautiful, man. It's a beautiful day. Solid weekend. Good time.
How can you not be fired up on a Monday?
Dude, everyone dreads Monday, and that's like a pet peeve of mine too. Like, what? Like, you should just be focused on it's a day, dude. You're alive. You're living. You're awake. You woke up. You're here. Be in the moment, like we talked about. All that matters is the present.
That's it. The day don't matter.
Yeah,
that's right. They all end in a Y.
Why not? Why not?
Why
ain't this a Friday then? Call it what you want.
Why not treat it like a Friday?
Hey.
You know, seriously, Monday, clean slate, baby. I love it. You wake up and you're like, guess what? I get to work all week. I get to have a clean slate and just totally crush it this week. Yeah, my Mondays fire me up, man. I know they do the same for you.
Yeah, for sure. Like, take advantage of that opportunity to get the week going. Boom.
And if you ain't excited about this week, there's something wrong with you. Because Wednesday, Drew, do you know what Wednesday is?
Hit me with Wednesday.
Halloween.
Spooky.
You're really good at that. It's like a talent.
I used to do voiceovers when I was in my early teens. So
that's a lie. So we're gonna move right along. So Halloween, though. Halloween, I gotta tell you, is probably it's one of my favorite little holidays, and it's right at the top there for me, behind Christmas, I think, because me and my wife got married on Halloween. It's my wife's favorite holiday. We do it big. We're into that spooky stuff, and that's it. I love Halloween, man. You like Halloween?
I do, man. It's kind of fell off for me since these past couple of years. I don't know. I just don't embrace it like I used to.
I think it's because of the weather.
I think that does the difference out here, because you kind of growing up in Ohio, you translate weather with seasons and holidays and stuff like that, and it's just like so consistent out here. It's like everything's kind of the same, every day. But I don't know. It's just different.
Yeah, it's different for me, at least last year and this year, right? I got the kid now, so it's not a party.
Right into it though, like on a whole nother level.
Yeah, for sure. So it's not like a party, like I'm partying now. It's kind of like we're doing it for him, which is cool. So we pass out candy, which was actually Saturday. We did that, pass it out a little candy. And the thing is, man, so like trick or treat in my neighborhood is 6 to 8 p.m. It's like super scheduled, right? Yeah. And I was just thinking the other day about like when we were young, and I don't ever remember, one, there being a time frame.
No.
Two, maybe our parents knew about it and we didn't, but I don't remember there being a time frame. And when we were young, you would just go.
Dude.
Like you didn't
in 4 hours, dude.
That's right. And it wouldn't start until it was dark, and you just go, and the streets were packed with kids and going, back and forth across the street, up and down, doing their thing. That there were a few parents here and there, but your parents just let you go, and you were just out seeing everybody, comparing candy, grabbing stuff. Like it was totally different vibe.
It used to be like on Halloween. Now they like stray away from doing it on the actual day because they're worried about all the freaks out there being sketchy.
Because the freaks do come out at night.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. But I don't like that. And what's interesting is like I get it. You don't want your kids out at night and dark because there's all the freaks. But I kind of feel like there was just as many freaky ass people back then. It's just they're on the news now.
It's safer now. If you look at any statistic, it's like safer now than it ever has been in the nationwide. And
for sure.
But you see all the negative media like just portrays everything so different. But It was it was definitely way sketchier back then than it is
Hell
now.
yeah.
You know
It
what I
was
mean?
more perverts too. I
Oh,
looked up the
dude.
pervert numbers. There's
When you
less
go
pervert.
knocking on a door and see a pervert, like out there in his long johns on or something,
Give you
passing
the
out
weird
them.
candy. That's how
Yeah,
you know a
dude.
pervert. They give you like a carrot.
All right, yeah, or them. What are those? The barrels, the
Oh, those little root beer
the
barrels.
root beer barrels, bro.
Trash,
But that's
trash.
where you go to like an old person's house. They got them old candies, man.
The little strawberry looking thing. It looks like a
Yeah, like
strawberry. Those
candies
are
you would
fire.
find in like your grandma's jar or something.
Straight, been in there for
Yeah,
decades.
dude, just never, just the same candy.
Yeah, but that kind of makes me sad, man. I wish it was kids could still get out, and I get it, walk around with your kids if they're, little enough. But if you're, you got your 10-year-olds to your 14, 15-year-olds, get out there, go nuts.
Dude,
Let them play, man.
we used to neighborhood hop, dude. I remember we would hop in the back of the what was it, station wagon, dude. Just hopped in the back of that bad boy, and we used pillowcases, because them little buckets ain't shit.
No, we use
You gotta
pillowcases too.
you gotta have a reserve pillowcase.
I remember like the first year that my dad wanted to like check my candy for like look it over because like
Right.
people were talking about there being razor blades and candy. I actually remember that year and being like, "What do you mean? Like, give me the candy, dude! Like, I'll know
Dude,
if
I'm
there's
about
a
to
razor in
smash
there.
when it's in my throat.
Yeah, I don't care if it's a razor in there, and I'll smash that. It's probably got a little flavoring on it if it's been in the candy.
Yeah.
So that sucks, man. I don't know. That kind of bugs me that it's shifted in that direction where
It's
everybody's
definitely
so
way different.
fearful.
Yeah.
Let the kids go out and be kids, dude. We actually used to trick or treat at school. I like through the
Yeah,
neighborhood. Do you
yeah,
remember that?
yeah.
You'd come in your costumes and they take you around the neighborhood trick or treating during the
Yeah.
school day. That was tight.
Or you go like into each class.
Yep, you do that too.
It's cyberling.
Yeah, man. So Halloween,
Well,
man, it's getting less spooky. It's getting less spooky. I know that. I wish we could go back.
speaking
I'm
of
just.
Halloween, like,
Ooh.
why don't let me ask you this question: why don't skeletons ever go trick or treating?
Mm. I don't know, man.
Because they have no body to go with.
Oh, you sick fuck. You sick fuck. All right, man. Halloween. You know what? You know what, Drew? You know what?
What?
You know what? You know what time it is?
What time is it? Oh, it's time.
All right, we're talking current events. Back at you with some current events. And you know what kind of current events we're talking about this week, Drew? You know about the bombs?
The bombs. Yeah,
You see,
dude. Crazy. Crazy. And it's like targeted towards like Democratic parties, dude.
people just mailing bombs, man. And then all you hear all the conspiracy talk. Like, well, obviously we're talking about like somebody mailed a bomb to Hillary, to Obama,
Yeah.
to George Soros, all these other people. Robert De Niro, I think, too, which is odd.
Like CNN headquarters or something like that, or office.
Yeah. And then you hear like instantly, I think the thought is like, oh, some freaky super right wing people did it. But then the people on the right are like, no, the left faked it and did it to themselves so they could get in the news media right now. It's like, what are we fucking talking about?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It just it kind of remember the Unabomber thing back in the
Yeah.
day? That's
Yeah.
kind of that dude was fucking nuts, and all his thing was basically about making a statement, a message, because he had felt he got screwed over by, I think it was more revolved around what the schooling system and stuff like that. But
Fuck him.
yeah, there's an interesting Netflix thing on that whole thing, which we watched. That was pretty crazy. But dude, like, what's the motive here? Like, what do you think is going to come of this, or why? Why would you even consider doing something like that? You gotta consider like you're trying to make a statement based off a broad belief of a what seems to be targeted as a political party, right? Because it's mainly the Democrats supporters that are getting all these. It's like, what the fuck are you thinking? Like that's not going to change, things. That's not the way to do anything. You know what I mean?
And if this person sends a bomb to these people, and because he hates the left and how Democrats think and their ideals. And let's say it's successful, right? He wipes out all these. Do you not think there's another fucking Democrat that's about to just slide in and take their place? Like, what are you doing, dude?
Exactly.
If you're gonna do some wild shit, it should appeal to the ideals at least. Like taking out a couple Democrats ain't gonna do shit for the way that society is, or the temperature, the climate, social climate, and political climate. That's not gonna help.
No, it's just going to make things worse. It's going to create more conflict and drive more separation between, the two parties or whatever, which I'm not even a fan of either. I'm not a political dude in general, but you have to understand that there's got to be some like a targeted goal for both parties to want to agree upon. It should go down to something as simple as what can we do for the people as a whole. If you're going to do this kind of shit and it's just going to drive separation between all that.
How about if you're out there and you're listening and you're thinking about building a bomb to send to somebody, you absolutely should build that bomb, but you should pull the fucking pin or hit the timer while it's sitting in your lap, you asshole.
For sure, dude. I can end that shit right now.
It just pisses me off, man. And like it's not gonna accomplish anything. People that do that, it's just, there's some real sickos out there, dude. But it sucks that they can just do whatever they want. But good thing everybody's safe. None they got intercepted.
It attracted back to Florida, which makes sense because all the fucking nuts are in Florida, dude.
Yeah,
crazy
Florida's
shit
a mess.
Is always like in Florida.
Florida's a mess, dude. I was in Florida and it seemed like everybody was in good shape, but the dude that was driving the bus, he had like a sketchy beard and he smelled a little bit.
That's how it starts, man.
That's exactly it. Next thing you know, he's sketchy and he smells a little bit and he's making a bomb.
It escalates so fast.
That's the next step. So make sure you don't stink. So you start stinking. Next thing you know, you look sketchy. Then you make bombs. Don't take a bath is what we're trying to say.
Yep. Your hygiene.
All right, man. Enough current event talk, man. The politics stuff. We should get into that. I know we don't really talk about it much, and even in our personal life, Drew and I don't really get involved with it. I steer clear, but we should get into that on an episode a little bit because we don't do otherwise. I think that'd be kind of interesting. But
yeah.
Anyways, we're gonna move right along. Drew, you got a solid little topic you want to talk about.
Yeah, man. I want to talk about the power of choice.
The power. I've got the power now. Here we are now with the power.
We are with the power. So for me, like, this is like, all right. So if you were to, everyone wants a superpower. I kind of translate this to like being able to have abilities to change your life, right?
Ooh.
So the power of choice is a superpower to me because you have the ability to do whatever you want based on the decisions you make. So if you were to think about it, we all know things that we should be doing that we choose not to do. We know how to educate ourselves. We know when we go into a situation, things we probably should or should not say. We have the power of choice to guide us and be able to improve our lives. And we don't make the right decisions, or we don't make any decisions at all to inflict that. So the power of choice to me is like the ultimate power that you have over yourself in influencing your growth and development and your success, and place whatever you want on it. You have the ability to choose to do that. If it's something you want to get interested in, you just don't feel like you know enough yet, you can choose to learn about it. If you feel like you want to build a relationship with someone that you're not, maybe things aren't going that way that you want them to go, you can choose to, build that and improve that relationship. You can choose to reach out. You can choose to learn something more about the other person. The power of choice is the single, biggest component in all of our lives that can have the greatest impact in everything that we do.
Dude, I like that. I never thought about it like a superpower, but when you think about it, power of choice is kind of like like if you had the superpower that you could morph into anything, right? I want to morph into a lawyer, right? Like a trial lawyer, a big shot trial lawyer. Well, you literally can,
Right,
right?
right.
You can't using the power of choice. You literally can. You can now. You're not going to like turn into like Jello, and then like and
Next
then
thing you
like
know, you got a suit on.
that's right. Stand up and you got a suit on and you're like arguing for Jeffrey Dahmer. But you using your choices, you legit right now can choose to go to law school. You can choose to study every night instead of going out to the club while you're in law school. You can choose to get good grades on your tests. You can choose to pass the bar. You could choose to get a job at a law firm. And then you could be a lawyer. Like that's heavy, dude. I just never thought about it like that. But the power of choice is the power of of adaptation, to morph your life into whatever you want it to be.
Everything we are and will be is a direct result of a choice that we make. It's that simple. And I'm not saying any of this is easy, but most of the growth comes from the most difficult choices. So, but then we talked about self-awareness, being aware of what your different avenues you can take, what your different decisions you can make, what's laid out in front of you. You have the ability to choose the path, and as you get more in tune with your passions and stuff, that the fork in the road becomes less and less, because if you stay true to who you really are, there's really only one choice, and that's comes from the internal passions and your purpose. So it's going to guide you to make that choice, and that's the only choice that you're going to foresee going forward, is the one that's going to benefit you and allow you to grow. And in turn, that's when you're able to help other people and provide value to yourself and others.
But you're fighting the whole time, bro. I got this whole comic strip in my head now. You have the superpower of choice to change your life into whatever you want it to be, but your arch nemesis is, as Joe Rogan would put it, your inner bitch. It's your brain, it's your mind that wants to take the easy way out. So you got the mind monster over there, your evil nemesis, and this fork in the road comes, and the right choice. You can adapt. You have that power, and then the nemesis, your mind, comes in, and it's like, no, come this way, you bitch. And you're like, all right, fine, because it's easier to go that way,
Yeah.
And so you got to beat that nemesis. You got to defeat that inner bitch, that weakness, that easy way out, and make the right choice. And then you adapt, you morph, you can use your superpower. That is heavy.
Yeah, and it's hard because there's so many external influences in our lives, and that's why it's so critical. We talked about in the past too, like surrounding yourself with people that have value to you, that don't drag you down. So the more you're able to narrow the external factors down too, the easier it is to make the choices that are going to benefit you. And like I said, dude, like we all know what we should be doing, at a grand scale. I'm pretty confident to say that if you don't have the awareness, then there's something really wrong with your ass. But we just choose not to do things. It's a choice. If you want to be good at something, choose to take the steps to be better at it.
Yep. And I definitely, that's a great point about who you surround yourself with, because part of like once you make the choice that you're not going to listen to your brain telling you to do the easy thing, you have to get over that hump of, well, I got so and so in my life that I might let them down if I make this choice, even though it's the right choice. They might think different of me if I make this right choice. They don't belong in your life. Then they're with the brain nemesis too. If somebody's gonna judge you, or you have to make a choice that isn't the one that's going to benefit you most because of how it's going to impact somebody else or how they're going to think of you, they're against you, and you don't need that. You got to get rid of that. Get rid of that and get rid of your inner bitch and make the right decision. Surround yourself with people that are only going to push you and be down with you making the right decision and appreciate it and keep pushing you further and making the right decision. Then you are unfucking stoppable.
That's it, dude. The more I thought about this topic, the more it hit me like super hard. Like you literally have everything that you need, up top, in the head muscles, and to be able to make decisions with the power of choice, dude. And if you know yourself well enough and you have good intentions, whether or not people will agree with you on your decisions, that should be on the back burner, dude. You know, you got to be mindful of other people that you care about, you know, in order to maintain the relationships if you really think there's value there. But at the end of the day, you can't let that influence overpower your intentions, that if you feel like you're doing the right thing by you and adding value to others. You know what I mean?
Yeah, be mindful of yourself. Be mindful of you, the decisions you're making. I love it, man. Power of choice is such a big deal. And you see people every day, you know, in your life making the wrong decisions. Help them out too. You know, there's no reason you see somebody making a wrong choice, you can't step in, especially if you care about them. And if they're upset, you're trying to help them. It's a relationship issue, buddy. That's something you need to evaluate. But if just it should always be a goal to make the right choices, get the people around you making the right choices, everybody moving in the right direction. This stuff gets me fired up. I love it.
Superpower. There you go. Make choices. You know, they're not
Super.
always going to be the right ones, you know, but maybe, I mean, what is the right choice? I guess it's all,
It's all relative.
yeah. So you decide, just make a choice and fucking ride it out. Then make
Yeah, I guess
another choice.
the first step is making a choice.
Right.
And then, you know, there's people who don't make any choices and they just coast. So make a choice and then worry about making the right one. Then you make the right choice and you are a superhero, dude. I love it. It's really good stuff. Drew brought to your eardrums today. I'm going to shift gears a little bit on them, Drew.
Chirp, chirp.
I'm going to shift gears, man. I'm going to throw it in neutral. Then I'm going to throw it up. We were in like fifth, sixth gear. I'm going to kick it back a little bit into like second gear. Then I'm going to third. And we're going to talk about legacy. What does legacy mean to you, Drew?
To me, it's something far beyond like material things. When I think legacy, I think how are people going to remember me? How did I impact them? What kind of emotions did I bring to them? And that's that sort of thing. Like when I'm gone, what's going to be the thing that they think about when they see or hear my name?
Ding, ding, ding. That's it, man. So the thought here is, you know, you go through every day and you're making all these choices and you're just going about your life, doing the things you're doing, hopefully having a really positive mindset. And oftentimes it's hard to take a second to stop and think about the end, with the end in mind, right? So to think about your funeral, right? So we're going to do this little exercise here that's going to break down how you want your funeral to go, the things you want people to say about you at your funeral, and how you can break that down into actionable steps to get there and create your own legacy, because you have the power via your choices every day to make your own legacy. So, you know, this came about from a conversation I had with somebody at work the other day, and we're you know, I'm doing this class, this training class for young leaders, and we're talking about legacy and vision and goals and how they're related. And this woman shared a story about how she went to the funeral of a guy that actually started the business that she worked for. And the guy that started the business, he was known as like a curmudgeon, like a angry, like entrepreneur dude, a little bit older. He was like always cutting corners to save money. Like you save money, save money, save money. Right. But everybody liked the dude, you know, and at his funeral, somebody was there and said, "Hey, you know, I just want to let you know," it was actually an employee from the company, said, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know," said this to his daughter, "Your dad actually paid for my kid's college tuition."
Oh, wow.
And she's like, "What?" Like nobody knew. Nobody had any idea that he did that. And like they were having the guy's kid was like a special kid, you know, had a brain, had talent, but he was in a position he couldn't afford to send her to college, her or him, I don't remember. But this dude stepped in, paid for college, never said a peep, right? So it made me think about the things people are going to say at my funeral, right?
Yeah.
And we'll run through this with me giving my examples, and I want to hit you with it, Drew, and see what you're thinking. So when I think about my funeral and how I want people to talk about me, what are the things I want them to say? Something that comes to mind almost immediately that I would be so proud of is if people were at my funeral and they could say, he changed my life. Jimmy changed my life. When he was here, he had an impact in some way that totally changed the course of my life. That's what I would want to hear at my funeral. So once you have that, so think that through. What do you want people to say? Like literally, what words do you want to come out of people's mouth at your funeral when they're up there talking about you? Once you have that written down on your little notepad with your number 2 pencil, then you got to break that down and think, what is the vision that will get me there? What's the vision for the rest of my life that is going to move me in a direction that people will say that at my funeral? So for example, I want people at my funeral to say, Jimmy changed my life. So the vision that's going to get me there is I want to be someone who has an immense impact on other people. So that's my vision. Because a vision, if you remember, a vision is something, it's a picture of a future state. And it's something you might never get to, but you can always keep going towards, right? Goals are something you're going to achieve. A vision is something that you're using goals to get towards. You may never achieve it, but it keeps you on the right path. So my vision would be, I want to be someone who has an immense impact on people. And if I'm executing towards that throughout my life, then at my funeral, someone will say, he changed my life. Now, how do I work towards that vision? Because it's all about having something that's actionable. How do I work towards that vision? I need goals. I need short goals right now that I can act on. So what goals, so now I got to think of what goals can I have that are going to move me in the direction of that vision and ultimately that legacy. So an example of a goal would be, it's Monday morning, I'm in my journal and I'm writing down what I want to do this week. One of my goals may be, I want to speak positivity to 5 people this week, right? Or I want to ask how someone's doing 5 times this week to people that I don't typically ask, right? I want to do something. And we've talked about that on here before, Drew, about the things you can do to not be a piece of shit and to just go out of your way, right? And make an impact on people. So that might be my goal. So this week, 5 people I'm going to speak to, give a compliment, say something nice, right? That's really small in the grand scheme of things. We're talking legacy in a life. That goal is really small, 1 week. But if I keep with those goals, right?
Compounds.
That's exactly right. They compound, chasing that vision. Next thing you know, I've had these goals for a year. People start saying, man, Jimmy's just always saying positive stuff to me. Like, always for like the last year, right? Then it just becomes something that you do and you are. Then it becomes something you're known for. And the impact is real. The impact is felt. So this exercise, why I love it so much is obviously the end is important and people don't take time to think about it. But when you do think about it, everybody wants to be, people to talk awesome about them at their funeral. But what are you doing today that's going to make that real? Because if you're not making the right choices today, that's never going to happen.
Right.
And it's never too late to start moving in the right direction. So Drew Castle, what do you want people to say at your funeral?
Dude, the more you start talking about yours, that aligns exactly with kind of how I feel about it too. I want people to see me as I've had a great impact of added value to their life with positivity, and I want to be remembered as someone that brought joy and value to their lives, whether it be something I've said or done, they've observed me do, what in any form that they thought when they were going through something, or they just needed a little positivity, to be able to reflect on something that I may have said, whether it be a direct discussion. Or that's why this podcast is so important to me too, because I feel like this is the platform, this is a great avenue to reach so many people at a grand scale and have that impact. But I would say that just that, man, kind of the same thing that you said. I just wanted to be the guy that added value and made people feel better about themselves and life in general.
There you go. So at your funeral, you want people to stand up there and say, Drew, we remember Drew. Drew brought joy to our life. Drew made an impact, positive impact on our life through positivity. So then your vision would be pretty much what leads to that. So your vision would be, I want to be someone who adds value to people's life through positivity. Mm-hmm. Right. And then from there, you can come up with whatever goals, short-term goals you want. And one of them, create a podcast where we can spread positivity on a bigger level than just one-on-one. So, but also you want to be doing it in your personal life as well, right? I mean, it's a full thing. And your values tie into all this too, because everybody's going to say that they want somebody to say a nice thing about them, right? So for example, you want people to say you brought positivity to their life. Well, you want that, that's fine. But if you don't really value that, if that's not in your value system of positivity, living positively, if you aren't even positive first, right? That one of your values isn't being positive, you're not going to be able to bring that to other people consistently enough throughout your life for that to be your legacy. So it's got to align. There needs to be some alignment all the way from your legacy to your vision to your goals. And it's also got to be aligned with your values. You can't fake the funk. It's got to be real. It's got to be something you care about and you're passionate about. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. You're going to do it for 2 weeks. People are going to think you're not genuine. And then they're going to say he was a freaky deaky pervert who wasn't genuine.
People are not stupid when it comes to that, man. So they'll know whether or not you're being genuine. This is why relationships are so important. Even if the person, if maybe they don't like you or whatever, that's your problem, man, when it comes to that. But I'm still going to treat you with respect. And if I can add value, great. I'm more than happy to, have dialogue and conversation with people that necessarily don't even know me. Because chances are, if they don't like me, they really don't know me as who I am. And that's my goal. Maybe we just don't align in certain things. That's fine. But I would never inflict like negative behavior or, onto someone else, whether it be, talking down towards them or about them. That's just not my style, man. So relationships to me are so very important, and building those and just being able to interact with people and add value, dude. That's all that I care about.
That's it, man.
I think living that, it's just in due time where people will recognize it. And, eventually it'll be, I'm the guy that, I always like talking to Drew,
Yep.
We're always like, being around Drew. Sometimes he busts out the harmonica. That's kind of cool too, or whatever, just shit like that.
It's not kind of cool. It's real cool.
No, I don't want to toot my own horn,
Hey, you ever play smooth jazz on there?
Smooth jazz.
You know what I do when people say they don't like me? First of all, I beat them down. But after I beat them, when they say they don't like me, I beat them down. But after I beat them down, I say, F you. I like you. You know?
And then after you beat them down, you pick them up. Come on.
That's right.
Let's go.
That's right. Beat them down to pick them, build them, break them down to build them up. That's what I do. You don't gotta like me, but I'm gonna like you. I'm gonna like you. That's it. It's good stuff, man. Legacy is heavy stuff, man. You gotta every now and then you gotta think about it, and we're not talking about it in a morbid way or death.
It's a great exercise to do to dig deep and discover like. That's something you need to consider. And I think that helps bring to light, who you truly are, like finding yourself, being self-aware of your intentions and your, deep emotions of what drives you to, make the decisions you make every day.
And it can be an eye opener, man. You say you could be listening right now and you come up with what you want people to say at your funeral. And then you look at it and you're like, if you're really looking, you're like, some people are going to be like, I'm not living that at all. Why would anybody say that about me? If I went next week, people certainly aren't going to say that. So boom, no better time than the present. Realign, shift gears, set a vision, set some goals, and get after it. I love it.
Never too late, man. It's never too late.
Never to refer back to that Zig Ziglar quote we posted quite a few days ago, last week. It was last Friday, as a matter of fact. something along those lines. Never too late to begin. You can't change the past, but you can begin today and change the future. So that's some good stuff about legacy, man. So we this episode we gave you some Halloween talk. Yeah, we also talked about little current event. People sending bombs everywhere when they should just be bombing themselves.
Yeah, scrap that shit, bro.
We talked about the power of choice. Drew hit you with the old superhero. You all have the power of choice, which in turn makes you a superhero. And then we talked about legacy. Are you doing the things you should be doing every day? Are you setting the right goals towards the right vision to create the right legacy for when it's all said and done? Which hopefully it's not ever said and done. Hopefully we're here forever. By the time we get old, we could be bionic, baby. They might put just a whole robot in you.
Just take your brain out and put it in something else, you know?
That's right. You probably had a robot in you one time.
Get you a new vessel.
So we appreciate everybody listening to episode 21 and to all the episodes you have listened to before. If you're just getting hip, go back and listen. I think you can hear our progression. We're getting better and better and better. More and more people are listening and interacting. We love it. And, you know, keep sending stuff, keep sharing stuff, keep sharing quotes so we can share them. Keep interacting in the Grow Your Brain group. If you're not in the Grow Your Brain group, add it on Facebook. It's a group where you can share articles. We share articles almost every day. Interesting reads, stuff that might not make the podcast, but is interesting and it could be a tool to help you. Grow Your Brain group on Facebook. Follow us on Facebook. Subscribe on YouTube. Go watch our pretty faces do all this fun talking. Follow us on Instagram and share, people. Share.
Sharing is caring, you know? Do you care about us or not? Man,
let me hit you with a joke before we leave.
Oh, yes.
Now, I do not mean this to be offensive to women at all.
Great. Here we go.
I heard this joke and it's funny, right? I told a couple chicks this joke. They laughed too. It's a funny joke. Don't get offended. So I went in the bar the other night, Drew. Okay. Mm-hmm. Did you know that?
I did not.
Okay. So I went to the bar the other night, me and Elliot, and two, we'll call them voluptuous women of the big variety came in and they sat up at the bar. And, you know, I'm nobody to judge. They're sitting up at the bar and they had these real heavy accents. I could hear them talking. Sounded like they're from Scotland. Okay. And you know a Scottish accent when you hear it.
Oh, yeah.
So we all do. So I'm like, man, I got to know if that's really Scottish. So I go up and I'm like, excuse me, are you two ladies from Scotland? One lady turns around. Bro, she was a royal bitch. She turns around and she goes, Wales. And I'm like, whoa. Okay. I'm like, are you two whales from Scotland?
I knew it. Oh, that's a good one, bro.
Yeah, there's this dude at work. He always tells jokes, and I would tell you probably 98 to 102% of them aren't funny, but he hit me with that one and I was dying. I didn't see it coming.
Dude, there's always like, no matter where you work or where you go, there's always that one guy that's just got fucking like a index of jokes.
An arsenal, dude. Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for us. That's it for Mindset to Mike. Oh, don't forget, hit us up to get your band. Get your band. Just show us that you're following, like, share something. And send us a DM and we'll send you a band or two.
Get your band, take a video of you dancing because you know bands make you dance. So
bands make her dance. All right. Until next time, everybody, grow your brain a little bit.
That's it. Stay productive and get shit done.